Hi coders, CS Time channel here, and this time we will talk about selection sort. Let's begin. Selection sort sorts an array by repeatedly finding the minimum element, considering ascending order, from unsorted part and putting it at the beginning. The algorithm maintains two subarrays in a given array. The subarray which is already sorted and remaining subarray which is unsorted. In every iteration of selection sort, the minimum element from the unsorted subarray is picked and moved to the sorted subarrays. Let's see the example. We are given unsorted array as follows, that we visualize it as follows. So we have 5 elements and each element occupied a certain index from index 0 up to 4. Let's see the concept of selection sort. The concept of selection sort is traverse all elements from index 0 up to index 4. And then we will compare the first index to the second index. If the first index is bigger, then we swap the position. Otherwise, the position remains the same. So from this, the result is as follows. In the first pass or first iteration, we always read the number from the first element. And then, now we have to compare it to the third index. The same concept applied. If it's bigger, we swap the position. Otherwise, the position remains the same. So here is the result. And then again, we will compare the first index to the fourth index. The same concept applied here, and here is the result. And then again, we compare the first index to the last index, and here is the result. At the end of this pass, the smallest item moves to the correct position. We need multiple passes to fully sort this array. Now we continue to the second pass or the second iteration. In the second pass, we always start reading from the second index. And then we compare it to the third index. If the second index is bigger, then we swap the position with the third index. Otherwise, we compare it with the fourth index, and the result is as follows. We will continue reading, start from the second index again, and then compare it to the fourth index. The same concept applied, and here is the result. And then again, we compare the second index to the last index. And the same concept applied, and here is the result. At the end of this pass, the second smallest number moves to the correct position. Now we are on the third pass. In the third pass, we will start reading from the third index, and then we compare it to the fourth index. The same concept applied. If the third index is bigger, then we swap the position. Otherwise, the position remains the same. So here is the result. And then again, we will continue. Compare the third index to the last index. The same concept applied, and here is the result. At the end of this pass, the third smallest item moves to the correct position. We still need to continue the iteration or the pass. In the fourth pass, we start the reading from the fourth index, and then we compare it to the last index. Here we only have two last items. So this is going to be the last pass. And then the result is as follows. At the end of this pass, the fourth smallest item move to the correct position, and this is going to be the last pass. So our array now is sorted. Now let's see the pseudocode. Here is our unsorted array, and to know the length of the array, we use r.length. It will give us value 5. So from the explanation, we understand that In the first pass, we always start reading from the first index or index 0. And then we compare index 0 to index 1. We compare index 0 to index 2. We compare index 0 to index 3. We compare index 0 to index 4. So in the second pass, we start reading from the second index or index 1. And then we compare index 1 to index 2, index 1 to index 3, index 1 to index 4. And then in the third pass, we always start reading from the third index or index number 2. And then we compare index 2 to index 3, index 2 to index 4, and so on and so forth. So from this, we understand that we have two sub-arrays. So it means we will have two for loop. So the first subarray move from 0 to the last minus 1, and then the second subarray move from the first index plus 1 until the last. And then after that, we compare our first subarray to the second subarray. So here I use X and then I use Y. If array X bigger than array Y, then we have to swap it. To swap it, we can use another variable. So here I use temp. So I put the value of Rx to the temp. Now I can use Rx to hold the value of Ry. And then I can use now Ry to hold the value of temp. Here is the pseudocode. And if you want to know the result, then you can do the looping and then traverse all the array from the beginning till end. Now let's see the application in Java using Eclipse. I prepared the code and we'll just paste it here. Exactly like our pseudocode. Here is our unsorted array that I declared using integer, and every instruction I need to use semicolon because we are working on Java. And then we use to for loop or nested loop here. The outer loop will start moving from the first index to the last index minus 1, while the inner loop will start moving from the second index up to the last index. And then we will compare our first array number to the second array number, which is 8 and 7. If the array X is bigger, then we have to swap since we want it ascending order. It will keep on doing so until it reaches the last index. Once we are quit the looping, then our number sorted. And to see the result, you just need to use looping and then display it with system out print. Let's see the result. Okay, and this is our unsorted array, and here is the result. The number has been sorted.
If you learned something from this video, please subscribe and like for more videos. Thanks for watching.